What they're trying to say with this is that in your boots, you have heels.
No.
That's what they're trying to say.
Those are just standard off-the-rack Lucchese.
How tall are you? How tall are you, Governor? How tall?
5'11".
5'11"? Okay. Why don't you wear tennis shoes and dress shoes?
I do wear tennis shoes when I work out. Yeah, 100%.
You do?
Yep.
Okay.
That's Ron DeSantis getting criticized for wearing cowboy boots that have heels in them. I didn't even know this was an issue until Donald Trump Jr. explained why.
How the top of the boot literally almost touches the bottom about 3 inches in. Like, that's just weird, folks. Say what you want. And there's those, oh, I can't believe you'd criticize him for wearing boots. No. I'm criticizing that mentality. It's that insecurity. Okay, if you're that insecure, if you're 5'7", whatever he is, like, own it, right? That insecurity on a world stage is not going to work out well for us. That's the kind of stuff that gets us into wars eventually. So I think it's important that we talk about it.
So there you have it. The size of the heel on Ron DeSantis' boot is important because it could get us into a war. And of course, this guy would never get us into a war.
Thank you very much, Wow. Thank you very much. Thank you. This is an honor. I just knocked over a fan on purpose here. It was blowing the hell out of my hair.
That's Donnie Tough Guy talking about how he knocked over a fan because it was messing up his hair. So he's worried about his hair. DeSantis is worried about his height. Meanwhile, Donald Trump is endorsing and supporting people like this.
Viktor Orban said the other day, the only way that this world is going to be solved, he's a very strong man, as you know, from Hungary, and he's the boss. There's no doubt about it. He actually asked me for my endorsement, and I gave it to him. I said, what do you need it for? He says, because I like to win by a lot. And he did. But he said, they asked him a question at an interview, and they said, what would you recommend to Biden? And he said that I recommend that he resign immediately and put Trump in his place, because during Trump there were no problems. China respected us. Russia respected us. Everybody respected us.
That's Trump saying how much he likes and supports and gets love from Viktor Orban, who is the autocrat in Hungary, because Trump likes autocrats, because he wants to be an autocrat. He loved Putin. He became friends with Kim Jong-un, Viktor Orban, the Bolsonaro over there in Brazil. These guys are all power-hungry autocrats, and Trump is one of them. And now somehow the issue has become Ron DeSantis' boot size, which is ridiculous. Ron DeSantis should be getting judged for his autocratic leadership that he's done in Florida, where he's become the state. He's made Florida the state that says, don't say gay, don't talk about slavery because it might make white kids feel bad. If you talk about slavery, it's not going to make white kids feel bad. It's going to make white kids be like, wow, my grandfather was a real a-hole. This is the same state that went after Disney because Disney was pro-LGBTQ. So there's a lot of issues. Ron DeSantis, anti-immigrant. They have that in common. Ron DeSantis and Donald Trump have that in common. And because of Ron DeSantis, a lot of immigrants have fled Florida, and now they're having trouble finding people to work certain jobs that need to be worked. So I was just in Florida recently, and a lot of Floridians are not happy with Ron DeSantis. But to his credit, the cowboy boot actually fits in Florida, because Florida is the South. We forget that sometimes, because the images we have of Florida are Miami. Outside of Miami and a handful of the other major cities and all the Latinos that are there, it's very Southern. And so those cowboy boots actually work for Ron DeSantis. And I don't know if he's trying to cover up his height, but I don't care. Who cares? He should be trying to cover up his autocratic ways, his dictatorial ways. Donald Trump should be covering that stuff up. But now we're in this world where the Republican Party does not care. They want an autocrat. They don't care if you tried to overthrow democracy like Donald Trump did on January 6th. They're going to make excuses. They're going to say that Donald Trump is going to save the country. And we don't know how. We don't know what he's going to do, but he's going to save the country, even though he was part of a attempted coup to overthrow democracy. And he's under 4 indictments for crimes that he's committed. I mean, we'll find out if he's guilty of it or not once he goes to court, but he's committed crimes. So you're comparing Donald Trump and Ron DeSantis is not a good thing to be comparing. By the way, even your comparison doesn't make a difference because Donald Trump is kicking his ass. He's kicking DeSantis' ass. Numbers-wise, he's running away with the Republican primary. So all this stuff about Ron DeSantis' heel size doesn't make a difference. You shouldn't care. But that's how they distract you. That's how they bring up smokes and mirrors. That's how Donald Trump Jr. somehow relates Ron DeSantis' height to the fact that he's going to lead us to war. By the way, Ron DeSantis claims to be 5'11". Donald Jr. said he was 5'7". And then he goes, just admit what you are. Just like his dad, Donald Sr., admits that he's 6'3" and 215 pounds when clearly he's, not as healthy as he would claim he is. And he's getting a lot older. He's almost as old as Joe Biden, which is really old. So if we're really going to criticize certain things, we should be criticizing the aptitude of these people to lead. We should be criticizing and looking at their policies. We should be criticizing and looking at their dictatorial ways. And then you got a conversation. But when you do this mumbo jumbo about boots, what are we talking about, folks? Who cares? Ron DeSantis is a bad guy. Who cares what kind of boots he wears? He's a bad guy. Donald Trump is a bad guy. Who cares what his hair did and how he knocked over a fan? He's a tough guy. Listen, guys, here's the point. Vote blue. And if you're going to vote red, vote for someone who's not an autocrat. All right? Can we at least agree that? Can we at least agree that we want democracy? Can we at least agree to that? I'm comedian Maz Jobrani. I'm on tour all over the country. Come to my shows. Let's have a laugh. We all need it. And yeah, if you wear boots with heels, who cares? Nobody cares. Go for it.